Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chap. 21 Sec, one of Jane Eyre, an autobiography.
As.
Ah.
Jane Eyre, an autobiography. Brontë. Chap. 21 Sec 1. Presentiments are strange things. And so are sympathies. And so are signs. I never laughed at presentiments in my life, because I have had strange ones of my own. Sympathies, I believe, exist, for instance, between far distant, bon absent, wholly estranged religious asserting, notwithstanding their alienation, comprehension, and signs, for aught we know, may be but the sympathies of nature with man. When I was a little girl, only 6 years old, about a little child, and that to dream of children was a sure sign of trouble, either to oneself or one's king. The saying might have worn out of my memory, had not a circumstance immediately followed which served indelibly to fix it there. The next day Bessie was sent for home to the deathbed of her little sister. Of late I had often recalled this saying and this incident, not brought with it a dream of an infant, which I sometimes hushed in my arms, sometimes dandled on my knee, sometimes watched playing with daisies on a lawn, or again, tubbling its hens in running water. It was a willing child this night, and a laughing one the next. Now it nestled close to me, and now it ran from me. But whatever mood the apparition evinced, whatever aspect it wore, blend of slumber, I did not like this iteration of one eyed a strange recurrence of one image, and I grew nervous as time approached and the hour of the vision drew near. When I heard the cry, a message that someone wanted me in Miss Fairfax's room, Thilo. I found a man waiting for me, gentleman's servant he was dressed in deep mourning, in his hand was surrounded with a crape band. I dare say you hardly remember me, Miss, he said, rising as I entered, but my name is Levin. I lived coachman with mice. We knew work cheat or 9 years since. Oh, Robert, how do you do? Remember you very well. George and his bay pony. And how is Bessie? This. Miss is very hearty, thank you, and are the family. Well, at the house. I am sorry I can't give you better news of. Then, miss, I hope no one is dead, I said, glancing at his black dress. He too looked down at the crape round his hat and replied, Mister, died yesterday was a week, mister. I see, Miss Eyre, it is not a common mishap. His life has been very wild these last 3 years. He gave himself up to strange ways, doing well. He could not do worse men and worse women. He got into debt and into jail. His mother helped him out twice, returned to his old companions and habits. His head was not strong, as he lived amongst fooled him beyond anything I ever heard. Took Gateshead about 3 weeks ago and wanted Mrs. to give up all to him. Mrs. refused her means. Have long been much reduced by his extravagance, so he went back again. And the next news was that he was dead. How he died. I was silent, the tidings were frightful. Levin resumed. My sis had been out of health herself for some time, got very stout, but was not strong with it. Money and fear of poverty were quite breaking her down. The information about Mr. John's death at Eyre. It came too suddenly, a stroke. She was 3 days without speaking. Rather better, she appeared as if she wanted to say something, making signs to my wife and mumbling. It was only yesterday morning. However, that Bessie understood she was pronouncing your name out the words. Bring Jane Eyre. Bessie is not sure whether she is in her right mind by the words, but she told Miss Redent, Miss Georgiano, then to send for you. The young ladies put it off at first, but their mother grew so restless and said Jane times that at last they consented. I left. Hate you today. You can get ready, Miss S. Robert, I shall be ready. I think so too, miss. Not refuse is to the servants' hall and recommended him to the care of John's wife and the attentions of John himself. I went in search of Mr. Rochester. He was not in any of the lower rooms, the yard, the stables, or the grounds. I asked why she had seen him ease. She believed he was playing billiards with Miss Ingram. To the billiard room I hastened, resented thence. Mr. Rochester, Miss Ingram, the two Misses Ishton, and their admirers were all busied in the game. Disturb so interesting a party. Myron, however, could not defer sight. She turned as I drew near and looked. I'm me hotely her I sin to demand, I said in a low voice, Mr. as if tempted to order me away. Was very graceful and very striking. She wore a morning robe of sky blue. Crit. A gauzy azure scarf was twisted in her hair. Animation with a game haughty lineaments. Does that person want you? She inquired of Mr. Rochester. Mr. Rochester turned to see who the person was. When? Well, Jane, he said, door which he had. But, if you please, sir, at Gatesheadshire. That is 100 miles off. Her name is Reed. So, Miss Reed of Gateshead? There was a Reed of Gateshead, widow. And what have you to do with her, Mr. A? Was. You never told me that before, no, widow. They. So, Mr. Reed is dead because I was poor, wordsome, but we left children. You must have cousins. Oh. A Reed of Gateshead yesterday who, he said, veryst. Rascals on town, same place. John Reed is dead too. Sir, and half ruined his family and is supposed to have committed suicide. Good, can you do her? Nonsense, Jane. Running 100 miles to see an old lady who will, perhaps, dead before you reach her. Besides, yes, sir. Long ago, and when her circumstances were very different as possible. I had better not pass my word to come back. Oh. Oh, and who goes with you? No, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Rochester meditated. I'll leave tomorrow morning. Well, you must have some money, you can't travel without money, and I dare say you have not much. I have given you no salary yet. How much have you in the world? Jane? He asked, smiling. Drew out my purse, a meagre thing it was. 5 shillings. He took the purse board, the hoard into his palm, it as if its scantiness amused him. Soon he produced his pocket-book, said he, offering me a note. It was £50, owed me about 15. I told him I had no change. Change, you know that. I declined accepting. More than was my due. He scowled at first, then, as if recollecting something, he said, Right. Better. Now I'll give you all now. You would perhaps stay away 3 months if you had £50. There are 10, yes. Sir, come back for it, then, Mr. Rochester business. You have as good as informed me. Sir, this, in that case, Sir Ada. Ought to go to school, her out of my bride's way, emphatically. There's sense in the suggestion, not a doubt of it. Aloud, as you say, must go to school, and you. Of course. I hope not, sir, in course. He exclaimed, a voice in a distortion of each was equally fantastic and ludicrous. Me some minutes. An old Madam Reed or the misses. Her daughters will be solicited by you to seek a place, no. Sir shall walk up the pyramids of Egypt. He growled. At your parole you advertise. I wish I had only offered you a sovereign. Instead of £10. Give me back £9, Jane. And so have I, returned, putting my hands in my purse behind. Little niggard, said he, refusing me a pecuniary request. Give me £5, not 5 shillings. To be continued.